expressed in this program by the host or guests do not state or reflect those of the company, its management, sponsors, or any entities they represent.
Oh, it's lit. We prime time. Subscribe, like, and share. Give us your feedback. Yo, I'm Manny at the plate and Kobe off a steal. Gretzky for the goal and Brady at the wheel. I'm a game changer, the Osaka of the tennis, and breaking scoreboards. Simone of the Olympics, defense and big business. The Mayweather who way better. From the greatness of Jim Brown, I've been down. Talking sports before I was off the porch. Screaming Bo knows while Jordan was playing horse. Late 80s getting torched by the drive and the shot. 2016 got a ring off the 3 in the block. They eased to forgot the cardiac kids. Price and Doherty, Bell in the Indian years. This who it is. Your host DeeTrynt, yo, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Yo, your host DeeTrynt, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Yo, DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, man. What's really good? What's really good? How y'all feeling? Man, we got a beauty for you today. Hold on, let me get my share on. Let me get it popping with the people. I got a special co-host coming in today. Somebody who I've got familiar with over these Twitter spaces. Shout out to the Twitter spaces too. I ain't gonna lie. Being on these Twitter spaces then definitely brought the Browns community together. I feel like, you know, regardless of all the BS and backlash that we receive from all over everywhere else, um, it's real. Um, hold on, hold on. I might have to readjust this one time. Give me 1 second, y'all. Hold up. Give me 1 second. All right. I appreciate y'all patience, man. I had to try to get some things in order, get it popping. DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports. Man, what's really, really good? We streaming from multiple media platforms, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Follow us on IG at Industry Sports or at DeeTrynt. If you missed the live streaming, please catch us, follow us, subscribe to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and various other streaming platforms. You know what I'm saying? It's growing, man. It's getting good. And now that the our local sports teams is like we're getting their game up, it's really, really going. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get my share on right quick, get things popping right quick. For all those viewing, if you want to come up, just hit the link in the comments on the stream wherever you viewing from. Come straight up. You know what I'm saying? We can get it popping. I got a special co-host coming in today. Cleveland's own. She gonna come in and let you know exactly who she is, but I really respect a lot of her knowledge and what she does know about the game, her point of view, and she's a diehard Cleveland fan. So we rock with our own regardless. You feel what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, it's been wild on the sports front. We really specifically covering football and the Browns today, and when it comes to these Browns, man. It's been a sight to see. I'm telling you, man. Andrew Berry, boy, I don't know. You might get another award, man. I ain't gonna lie. You might be executive of the year again. I mean, I don't know how you be pulling these rabbits out the hat. I don't know how this works, but bro, to get hold on for 1 second. Yeah, I'm getting my share on and getting things together. You know what I'm saying? You know how it be, man. When we stream, I'm usually streaming for a little while, right quick. So let me just keep getting my share on. Give me a. All right, man, my fault. You know what I'm saying? We was streaming for about 7, 8 minutes. I done had y'all on quiet for like 6. I'm so sorry, y'all. I had to get some things all the way coordinated. You feel me? Clearly, I didn't do my job correctly like I was supposed to before we got here. I wasn't really clear about how things going. Cal, what's really good? So that's my apologies. It ain't nobody's fault but mine. All right. But DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz, man. As I say, we stream live from multiple media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Follow us on IG at InDaStreetzSportz or at DeeTrynt. If you missed the live streaming, because we only live stream on the ones that I just named. It's on the major social media sites. That's where we stream from. Okay, we about to get that together in a second. But if when you want to catch the replays, um, you catch us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Radio Public. I'm about to trying to get my co-host up right quick. She having trouble hitting the link, so that's kind of a little bit of it. I'm trying to get her together right quick, see what's going on. Um, but yeah, though, we talking Browns, man. Listen, as I was saying before, man, Kobe Altman, bro. I mean, I said Kobe Altman. This is how you know it's been getting real. All right, Andrew Berry, man. Andrew Berry, man. He been making moves. He said he was gonna put the pressure on this offseason. He said he was gonna do what he needed to do to upgrade the team. And that's what he's been doing, bro. I mean, the draft was nice. All right. We went over a little bit of the draft, Ika Tillman, DeJuan Jones, Weipler, Cameron Mitchell, guys that we got in the draft. But since post draft, this Zadarius Smith signing, this trade, oh man. I mean, was it the icing on the cake? It's kind of the icing on the cake. Listen, we got a veteran stud, 3-time Pro Bowler to pay on the opposite side of Myles Garrett. And he's only like 31, bro. He ain't even that old. Like he only like 31. You know what I'm saying? And he's used to being the Myles Garrett of other teams. You feel me? So I think we really, really, really done got lucky, man. We done really, really won right now. Or I guess, right now, I guess we paper champions, right? Because you got to get into the season to really see how things go. You know what I'm saying? You got to actually see the players play, the system actually being ran in real time to really gauge whether or not everything has came together properly. And that's understandable. But being able to just be very, very optimistic, just to be able to say, wait a minute, we got legitimate, tangible pieces that's right here, ready to go. Man, hold on. Look, so before I get into the actual itinerary and layout of the show today and get to the hardcore topics, it was an interesting stat that was brought up on Twitter. I can't remember which national media football analyst posted it, but it was extremely interesting. And what made it interesting is last year, most of us Browns fans, we complained because there was we didn't know what our defensive coordinator was doing. We have a team that's built to play man ball, that's built to attack. All of these guys bring the attribute of dominating one-on-one and being able to really wreak havoc, whether it's in the passing game or behind the line of scrimmage or, just even just, special teams as well. Like we had guys built for attacking. And the stat that came out said when the Browns defense ran zone, they were ranked 24th in the league. Now it's only 32 teams. So you rank 24th. You're virtually top of the bottom half, the bottom fourth. But when they ran man to man, they were second in the league. That is a tremendous difference. You're 24th when you run zone. but you're second when you run man. So you know the obvious question. Why y'all not running man? Why are you running zone? But you know what happens in Cleveland? Coaches come over here trying to make their mark, and they try to come up with all these exotic plans and elaborate schemes to just make them seem like they so fire at what they do. But Johnny Chat say the Bills are what's up. Man, we about to get into that though, because this is part of that's part of my little topic lineup. But yeah, they come with these elaborate schemes trying to do all that, and then they end up basically wetting the bed. But now we have a proven Super Bowl winning, Pro Bowl producing defensive coordinator, and he brought over I'm gonna just take that as a autocorrect error, because I know autocorrect be doing some crazy stuff sometimes. We're gonna get to you in a second, whoever Johnny Chats is. I'm just gonna assume that was an autocorrect issue, because I just know you ain't come on my stream trying to be disrespectful. Especially when ain't nobody being okay. My man. Okay, I got you. Give me a second, because that's part of my agenda too. Give me a second. So I'm waiting on my co-host to come up for some reason. You know what I'm saying? She ain't been able to come through yet, so I don't know what's popping. I'm sending her the link, trying to get her up here. You feel me? Hey, Queen, what's good?
What's up?
How you feeling, darling?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm cooling. I'm cooling. You know, I'm just trying to prolong the stall till you was able to get up here. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get it together. Background looking nice though. That's fire. Check you out. You feel me?
Trying to get some lighting in here. It's kind of dark today, a little drab in
Yeah,
Ohio.
you just need the light to hit you. Long as it's hitting
All right.
you, you good. You feel
All
me?
right. We good. D, what's up? Can you hear me?
Correct. Be tripping.
You
All
frozen.
the it will make you say something. You go back and look and be like, I didn't push that.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
So Browns off season. Now, Johnny Chats, he come in. I'm assuming he a Bills fan. The way he came in, he seemed like a Bills fan, right? So his first question to me, well, the first thing he said was, "The Bills are what's up." All right, I ain't gonna even hold you. I don't knock the Bills. You know what I'm saying? The Bills had a special place in my heart when they had, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, Daryl Talley, Cornelius Bennett. You know what I'm saying? Bruce Smith. You know what I'm saying? Mel Gray. Like I could go on. Like that was my squad. You feel me? That was early '90s joint. And as of lately, man, they've been good though. You know what I'm saying? They draft well. They seem to develop well. Their defense has been a top tier defense the last 4, 5 seasons. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't got nothing against the Bills. They just not better than the Browns. Like that's just like they just ain't got nothing on them. Hey, no, James Lofton was fired too. Lofton gives me that. So remember the old San Francisco teams when they had um John Taylor with Jerry Rice, and that's who Lofton remind me of, a Taylor. Like he dominate games, but because Reed gets so much publicity, you kind of forget that this guy be over here holding it down. But I definitely was a fan of Lofton too. I ain't leave nobody out on purpose. You feel me? Though it ain't nothing like that. You feel me? But Miss Queen,
We
how you
coming.
feeling?
We coming. We coming. I have no disrespect with the Bills. In fact, when the Browns is done and our games is over and they play later, I try to support them. I A lot of the Bills fans helped me raise almost $150,000 for the Cleveland Rape Crisis Center. So I have nothing but love for the Bills. Um, I'm mad at the Browns because I don't like OBJ, but I forgive them. He's no longer a Brown, but he has talent. We can't deny him that. I'm excited about the upcoming Browns season. I think that we made some moves, and I'm at a place in my Browns fandom where it's to talk about it. You know, we're not going to talk too much about it. We're going to be about it this year. At least that's my hope going into the new season.
No, you know what? I'm on that too because it's some benchmarks I need them to hit before I start going super crazy. So let me ask you, starting off, how much better should the will the Browns defense be under Jim Shorts?
I'm
What's
believing it
your
can't be
opinion?
any worse because with Woods at times, let me see what's going on with this volume. A lot of feedback. Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you. No, I can hear you
Okay.
clearly.
Okay. I think that it can't get any worse. If I was coaching the defense at this juncture, I would hope to believe it couldn't be worse. I'm actually surprised that the Texans picked up Joe Woods after that whole debacle we had for multiple seasons. So I think that the similarities that we'll see is that he's not a blitz first type of coach either. I think both of them share that strategy. However, he doesn't need to blitz with his defensive scheme. He oftentimes creates opportunity for individual players to shine and still get to the quarterback without the approach being blitz first. So I'm interested to see how we convert. Um, I want to see what he does with our safety room and how we can get those guys to be more productive. Even picking up Delpit's friend from Northwestern, can't think of the kid's name off the top of my
Cameron
head.
Mitchell.
Exactly. I'm
Cameron
hoping
Mitchell.
that maybe he can fill the void that Delpit struggled with, and we can put him in a different position. I'm hoping that we can get Ward back in man coverage, which he's good at, and really just accentuate player strengths. Sometimes scheme is as good as the players. If you're not able, it's like in basketball. If you have a strong team, you go man defense. What we going zone for? We playing man. But if you don't have that, or vice versa, sometimes you have to change things up again to meet the needs of the talent. So I think that Schwartz has been instrumental in telling leadership who he wants on defense, and we've gone and got them. I was in debate with someone earlier today about Smith coming over from the Vikings. And of course, it was a Browns fan, which annoyed me slightly because I'm tired of us being negative little bit. So I'm tired of us being negative. But in this article he wrote, he was saying that Zadarius was a head case. Well, when you get hurt, it's hard to be a cheerleader. It's hard to have camaraderie if you're competitive. If you've ever played sports and you had someone in your team that was highly competitive, they're going to get frustrated when they're not at their best. And as a result of that, I feel like those same players almost become cancerous in some ways because they're so mad that they can't get out there and help you, that they kind of have a chip on their shoulders. They're burdensome. They're frustrated. So
That's a
we,
fact.
to me, we have him on a 1 year lease. So we don't get to lease cars for a year typically. So we're in a rental situation. We're gonna rent him out, see what it do. We're gonna get from him what we hope he can give. If it works, we sign him. If not, he goes about his business. It's a win-win. We got what we needed this year. It gives us time to develop other DTs, get someone else in that position that's not ready today. So I'm excited about the defense. How about you?
You hit a lot of the points though, Miss Queen. I'm not gonna hold you. That you know the things you said about Schwartz is what gets me excited about the whole defense from foundation.
Yes.
Um, Johnny Chess, what he say? He say, "Where's Hunt? He washed up." Marquez Goodwin, Rocket. He was on the Bills. Oh, you got Cedric Tillman to join David Bell. Okay, so Johnny Chats be really looking at our team though. Shout out to Johnny though. He really looking at our team. All right, let me get back to the topic at hand. So the fact that Schwartz is like that, the fact that he had that Detroit defense that has Sue and Barley, what's his name? Nick Barley, I think it was Bailey. They had Agba, Enzu. That defensive line had a whole bunch of different names, but they was fire. Then he had the defensive line and Philly. They really still run his style of defense in Philly, and he been going like 2-3 seasons. So yes, I feel like not only is he's going to open up opportunities for the defensive line to be disruptive, but that core principle is going to open up more for our linebackers who really got abused last year because our defensive tackles couldn't keep, guards and centers from getting to the second level. They were able to put 3 blockers on Miles and figure the other 2 blockers was going to hold the other 3 rushers we had on the line. And that's just not okay. You highlighted him coming in, putting his imprint on the defense, letting Andrew Berry know who he wanted. That Siaka Ika pick, listen, I'm in love with that pick because that's a big boy. Like he
stop that run.
Listen, and that was so crazy because last year we had a combination of nice veteran linebackers with some young linebackers. I mean, we traded for Deion Jones to see how that would work. We already had Anthony Walker on here. We were seeing how the development of JLK was going to go. Hold on, Johnny. I'm about to get back to you in a second. I'm seeing you on the comments. Let me finish my thought first, bro. So, I'm seeing all that, and I'm like, okay, dang, like these boys really could make some plays. Like Jacob Phillips, you know what I'm saying? He a guy that can really make some plays too. But, the fact that we couldn't get no type of hold up at the point of attack, you know what I'm saying, was really bothering us. So I feel like, and you know what? And I'm a lightweight. No, I can't. Because Joe Woods picked his players. You purposely didn't pick defensive tackles. I can't even give you a pass if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? But Swords came in. We definitely gonna see what's gonna happen with Hill and Hurst, who he brought over originally. We ain't even said nothing about Dalvin Tomlinson, who was really like the beefcake of the offseason for real. Getting a guy who's a known run stuffer that has spent the last couple of years developing his pass rush ability. So now he's in a system that's going to allow him to do both.
Right.
Oh, man, listen. And then when you got Miles over there, like Miles got 16 sacks last year with virtually no help in the front seven. None.
Wow.
I have no, and he missed like 3 games.
Facts.
So I ain't gonna lie. I think Miles might break the sack record this year. Sack record, what, 22 and a half? I'm giving Miles 25 by himself. I'm giving him 25. So I think the defense will be much improved. Last year, with the stat I was saying, because before you came on, I was letting them know about the Twitter article we seen where it said when we ran zone last year, we was 24th. But when we ran man, we was second.
Right.
So I'm gonna say, I say we get to at least 7. I'm gonna just go top 7.
Why not?
You know what I'm saying? Like that, because Ward, oh, you know what? But we gonna get to that. All right. And I lightweight jumped into my second question, lightweight early. So let me ask you, Miss Queen, with all the stuff that we know about the defense right now, how many sacks do you think this defensive front seven or this defense can get? I think Philly last year had the most, and they had 70 as a unit.
Wow. I guess I've never thought about it. Let's make 70 the bar and beat that.
I like that. I ain't gonna even hold you because I'm giving Miles 25. I feel like Miles can give me 25. He can give me 25. What? Nobody's checking him one-on-one, man. You know what I'm saying? And that. Let me ask you, how do you think Za'Darius is going to complement him in his defense?
I think that it's like with any sport, we're going to make defenses. Make the offensive line make a decision. So what we've seen a lot of year after year is Miles being held by 2 to 3 players. Well, you can hold him if you want to, and then Smith is going to eat. So we're going to just keep it's like we're just going to bounce past over here. Next man up mentality. So before we had Jadavian, right? Is listen. Before we had Jadavian, and he was inconsistent and then he was hurt. Then he was inconsistent. Then he was hurt. I didn't dislike Jadavian, and I wish he wouldn't have allowed his frustrations to manifest in public, because social media is for the streets. It's not for contracts. But nonetheless, he did that, and so he's no more. He could have maybe been signed at a minimum or reworked his contract, and we could have let him cook too. But he's still on the block to be picked up. So good luck. Maybe they'll find you. So I think that was career suicide in a way for him. He could have still been with us, and it would have allowed us even more versatility, bringing him in on certain schemes and letting him cook too, giving Miles a break. So I'm excited, and I think right now it's still new because ultimately people still have to click, and that's the part that you can't look at paper and determine. How do you get them to come together? Will they be cohesive? Is it going to be frustration in the locker room because one person is not getting what they used to because somebody else is getting on? Or can we make it more cohesive? I don't think Woods was the guy to get that out of these players. I think Schwartz is. So when I say I'm excited, sometimes teams have to talk about one side of the ball or the other, offense or defense. This year, I'm excited to be talking about both sides of the ball. I think we're ready.
We ready.
Period. We ready. That's period. Come on, dogs. Where
you at? Because you know what? Getting into like this. Let me not jump ahead. All right. So, with that being said, who benefits the most from the defensive line being upgraded? The linebackers or the DBs?
I'm going to say the linebackers.
Okay.
From a talent standpoint, our linebackers struggled in the scheme that Woods will put them in, but so did the safeties. And if you have those strong tackles up front, I think that it allows the linebackers to just kind of gap fill. If it gets past this, then it's time for me to eat. So I think that they're not being relied as the primary, they're secondary. And that's what we want them to be. And I think that's why we haven't put as much emphasis on the linebacker core. Not that we had bad ones. And then in fairness, our linebackers got beat up a little bit last year. People were hurt. A lot going on with injuries. This is football. It's a brutal sport. So as they get hurt, it made it difficult. We don't have the very large linebackers a lot of teams have in terms of stature and size. So it's easier to get hurt when you don't have that. And that's one of the things a lot of fans are critical about with our linebacker core is their sizing, not just so much even height, but their stature. So I think that building up that line will give them some relief and allow them, again, to complement. All of these things to me are trying to be put in place to complement what we have. And that's what coaching is about. You got to look at what you have and identify what would complement those players, their abilities, their talents, etc. Because without doing that, you just keep putting people in the same position over and over and over again. If they're not successful, it's insanity. Why would we want to do that? I didn't understand it the last couple of years, so I'm excited about us.
No, that's real. Doing the same things over and over, expecting a different result is the definition of insanity.
It is.
I'm with you on that. So you're saying that are you saying that it's possible that we can have a linebacker that goes over 100 tackles this year?
I think anything's possible with this defense.
No, I'll make y'all. You gotta stand on something for me,
I'm gonna say
Queen. What's
yes.
up?
I'm gonna say yes.
Which linebacker you picking?
Now that's a harder question.
So look, we got A-Walk probably won't. Well, A-Walk, to hear A-Walk say it, and for those who don't know who A-Walk is, we're talking to Anthony Walker Jr. He's going on his 3rd year with the team. He came over from the Colts a few years ago. Was a mentor to Darius Leonard, or I should say Shaq Leonard, in that Colts defense. Last year, unfortunately, he got injured in the Pittsburgh game where the offensive guard, or I think it was the tackle actually, and it should have been a penalty. You wouldn't ask me for real, because he didn't came. The play was all the way on the other side of the field, and he didn't came to level A-Walk for no reason and mess his whole leg up. But anyway, that happened in about, I say that was about November-ish. It might have been October. Yeah, it might have been October for sure. But so Anthony Walker Jr., to hear him say he'll be back for the start of training camp. Now, lucky for us, training camp don't start for another month and a half, 7-8 weeks. So,
it's not lucky for us. I'm ready.
Well, no, I was saying lucky for us just on a little more time. The heel side. He would have been my number one option to go over 100 tackles because he's done it before. But I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna pick the guy who I think will possibly be in the running for most improved player. And that's Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
That's who I was gonna go with, Joe.
He is a heat-seeking missile. He, in my opinion, not only does he love to play downhill, but he loves to play aggressive. And I just think if anybody's going to benefit the most from this overhaul, it's him, because you could move him so many places around the field and still have him either blitz or play zone or just be there to get an open field tackle. And I feel like his open field tackle is a lot better than was demonstrated the last few seasons.
I agree.
On the overall question, though, I would have picked the DBs. I'm gonna pick. I think the defensive backs, specifically Ward, Newsome, and Grant Delpit, are going to benefit the most from the new defensive line. You look at Philly last year. I'm gonna even take you back even older, because this line, the way it's assembling, lightweight, kind of reminds me of that Giants line with Strahan and OCU Manura and Justin Tuck and those guys. I feel like because of their attacking nature, Denzel Ward might end up with double-digit interceptions this year.
Absolutely.
I think Greg Newsome is going to probably get he's going to have an opportunity to get at least 9 interceptions. And I'm going to phrase it like that. He's going to get an opportunity to get about 9 interceptions. I don't know how his hands is. But even more so, Grant Delpit is a tackling machine. And I feel like him and JOK might lead the team in tackles.
That's fair.
So I'm picking the DBs to be able to benefit more from the defensive line. But look, as long as they all play, look, we all good. You know what I mean? Right. DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz, streaming on multiple media platforms: Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Follow us on IG at InDaStreetzSportz or at DeeTrynt. I have the lovely co-host Miss Queen up here, Cleveland representative, diehard Cleveland fan like myself. So definitely rock with us, share, like, subscribe. Feel free to get in the chat. We be reading off whatever quotes, you know what I'm saying? If you want to come up and show your face and get in on the conversation, the link is in the chat wherever you're viewing from. If you missed the live streams, you can catch the replays on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and various other streaming platforms. Just look for the Industry Sports channel. Subscribe, like to that, and then you will find the Game Changer Sports Talk Show right up under that. We started off for the Browns talking about this defense, a little bit about Andrew Berry, but we all know what everybody want to know about when it comes to these Browns. All right, and it's this offense. This offense is what everybody got their eye on. All right, Deshaun, full off season. You know what I'm saying? And weapons. So let me go back to Johnny Chats. I don't know if you still hear Johnny Chats, but you know, this is why I was saving it, because Johnny Chats had a lot of questions about the offense. So he say, I like top 5 Watson if he good again. Then he say, where's Hunt? He washed up. Then he come back with Marquise Goodwin. Rocking. He was on the Bills. Oh, y'all got Cedric Tillman and to join David Bell? Miss Queen, any other good wide receivers?
We have Amari Cooper. We can't forget about my man. I think our wide receiver core is strong. One of the better ones in our division or in the league. I think that there's some other teams that have had more time to their receiving core has gelled and been together longer. So we have a lot that has yet to be seen, but I'm excited. You look at Tillman, I know a lot of people were questioning whether or not we should have went after his teammate, but in terms of consistency, he's very consistent. I believe he only had 5 drops, which is good. He's a tall receiver. So I think that we are preparing ourselves for Watson to be top 5 again, as asked by Johnny Chats, because we're giving him some targets to throw the ball to. So in hindsight, yeah, I wish that Landry or OBJ or the wide receivers we had at that time and those that we have now were able to cook with Watson, but it is what it is. We had Baker, fake field, and now we moving on. And I don't see Deshaun Watson declining to a point of no return. He's in the gym. He's putting the work in. He's building cohesion amongst the offensive players. And to me, they're changing the mindset to a growth mindset, to a winning mindset. And that's a big deal to me when you take the field with the goal to win as opposed to not losing, which is a different perspective. So I'm excited. Who's your favorite wide receiver or receivers? We got more than one to choose from.
My favorite? I ain't gonna lie. My favorite wide receiver on this team is Amari Cooper. I'm not gonna lie. Amari Cooper, to me, is arguably one of the top 2 receivers to this point to ever come out of Alabama. That is my personal belief. You know, I mean, you know, you got your Julios and your, you know what I'm saying, your Judys and your Ridleys and all that, and I'm not knocking none of that. But to me, Amari Cooper is such the tactician with the deceptive speed and agility, with the surefire hands. Now I understand. You know, I was watching a few replays for some games last year after Deshaun came back, and I understand he might have dropped 1 or 2 passes, and I know people probably going to try to bring that up, but that's not who he is. And in those same games, he came right back on the next catch, broke a tackle and scored. You know what I mean? So I feel like Deshaun Watson has a reliable number 1. To me, Amari Cooper is such a glue piece for this offense. You got Nick Chubb, who we already know nobody can stop. Nobody. And people will say he's underutilized. Now, I will agree with that if we're talking about as a pass catcher, because I feel like his hands are better than advertised. Excuse me. But as a runner, a guy who we went what? 8-9 last year? 7,
right.
8-9 last year? He went for 1,500 yards. He went for under the radar 1,500 yards off 300 carries. That's 5 yards a carry for his
insane.
career. insane, right? For his career, he averages 5 yards a carry. So you're putting him, his calm demeanor, with Amari Cooper, who has a very calm demeanor. I don't ever think I've ever seen either one of these guys hype, ever. And then you pairing them with Deshaun and David Njoku. So like, but my favorite is Amari Cooper because I feel like with him, everybody else can do what they do well. Um, as far as the new receivers, I don't know a lot about Tillman. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be very honest about this. I bagged up off being heavy on college football the last like 3 seasons. Um, what got me more back into it is when they brought the NIL in. And I know that's a different subject, but I feel like you can't make millions and trillions of dollars off these kids' back while charging them a school fee and then penalize them for making money as a grown adult. Like that, it don't make no sense to me. But now that they're doing that, I feel like it's better, not only for college, but for the league, because guys who don't think about pursuing a major league career, and that's just for any sports. Now they can still make millions of dollars and graduate with an education and come out as business owners. And then the people who actually really passionate about being on the next level, those guys are the ones that the major leagues getting. So now you're getting more quality product.
And it's also benefiting women in college sports, especially in basketball. Very frustrating. I'm not going to get off topic, but just to throw this out here, it's very frustrating to see the first pick in the WNBA draft get dropped by the team that drafted her. So a lot of these top 10 players have been dropped. And how do you compete with a Diana Taurasi, a Skylar Diggins, a Candace Parker? They they can last longer. So they're forced to go overseas and play. And with the NIL deals, you look at Angel Reese, who, can bring in a earning potential that's limitless, in my opinion. As long as you want to straight and narrow and play the game well, you're doing commercials. I saw a dealership gave her a car. You know what I mean? Like, they're winning. You can't be mad at that. And so I'm happy about it. It encourages them to stay in school and finish their degree, because unfortunately, you the number one draft pick in the NBA, you getting a guaranteed contract. That's not the case for women's sports. I almost wish they took a perspective like Canada, where once a year it's called tax day, if you will, for the NBA, and they take $1 per ticket sale or $2 per ticket sale and donate it to the league to help them build that up, so that those women can get paid and not always have to go abroad, because that's not always safe for them. It's impractical if they want to start a family and things like that. So I wish I had the money for expansion, because I would want to have a team. It's very frustrating to me to see what happens to them. So I'm glad you brought that up. And I hope that it continues to be prosperous for both men and women in college sports.
Just to piggyback a little bit on the women's side of it, the new CBA in the NBA allows players to invest into the WNBA teams. And just on the specific,
bring back my Cleveland Rockets. That's it.
That I was just getting to that. Listen,
let's get an investor group. Let's do it.
I ain't gonna even hold you. I'm down. Like, I ain't gonna even hold you. Like, listen, I ain't gonna even lie. And you know what? That's another conversation. I have another. We got another stream that covers more realness topics and music. It's called Deeper Than Bars. You can definitely catch that on Spotify, YouTube, Deeper Than Bars channel. That's when I'm in my whole other personality bag, DC 3 degrees, and we could talk about other little things right now. I mean, but on the women's side of it, the fact that the men can invest now, And you know, as much criticism as Kyrie gets, he looks out.
Yes.
He takes money out of his own pocket and he looks out. You know what I mean? So I think I'm more than sure there are plenty of NBA stars who would love to increase the salaries of the WNBA players and bring in more teams. Because I think that's the real problem with why some of these high draft picks in the WNBA are getting let go, because there are only so many slots and there's only
That's
so
right.
much money.
It's not enough teams. And I saw that the Aces sold out the stadium. It was a beautiful sight. We need more of that too. You got to support that. You got to support women's sports. That's another part of it. So,
no, that is a
but I
fact.
digress. I know we're not talking about women's sports because I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. Let me step down.
Like DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports, man, streaming from multiple media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You can follow us on IG at Industry Sports or at DeeTrynt. If you missed the live replays, you can catch them on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and various other streaming platforms. Right now, I'm up here with the lovely Miss Queen. We going over sports of crazy, but mainly we talking about these Browns. All right. So we done covered the defense a little bit. We then started covering the offense. We went to the passing game. We talked about Nick Chubb, but something that's been a frequent topic of conversation is who backs up Nick Chubb. What's up with the Browns running back room right now as it stands, with only Jerome Ford, Demetric Felton on the roster as guaranteed contract guys? They have a Nate McQuarrie they brought in on the invite, Hassan Hall, undrafted rookie, they brought in on the invite, and they still got John Kelly Jr., a guy that's been on the practice squad and played various games with us for the past 2.5 seasons. How do you feel about the state of the running back room? Do you think Felton and Ford can be reliable and powerful backups?
I think it's a loaded question. And the reason why I say that is it depends on how well we cook with putting that ball up in the air. If we don't have to rely as heavily on Chubb and can save his legs a little bit, and we use him strategically, that backup to Chubb may not be as advantageous as we needed him to be in the past. In the past, the run was our best bet. So it was critical that we had someone of equal, well, when I'll say that, I'm overstating clearly, of similar caliber, of likeness, to back him up. I think that he was more of a power runner, whereas Hunt was more of a finesse runner. He could see the field differently, and he kept them legs moving, even though he wasn't of the same stature. Chubb is gonna run you over and take it to the house. He's like Myles Garrett, where they're just unicorns in essence. So if our offense could put that ball in the air and complement the run, I think that those guys could back him up. The question is, are they as developed and where we need them to be to do that? Like Hunt, I'm not certain. We don't know. So I would prefer to bring somebody in. I know there's been talk about bringing Elliott and some other free agents that are out there. Is that the answer? I'm not sure, because I don't know where we're at on offense yet. We haven't been privy enough to practices and different things that are off the record, so to speak, to see where those guys are. But when they had an opportunity, some of them fared well last year. Granted, might have been the end of the game where we kind of conceded or we were up. So it may not have been the same defense that we would face normally, because they were going against other backups as well. So I'm not sure that that's a great gauge. But if we don't get anybody, I'm saying we're going to work with what we got. Next man up is always my mentality. You work with what you got. But from a standpoint of comfortability, I would prefer to bring in a seasoned veteran to fill that role. I wouldn't let Hunt go, but that's just me.
So I am on the minority here. All right, and I know for a fact because I've heard from my Browns family, and hopefully some of them out here is viewing and watching. Feel free to comment. You know what I'm saying? Let me know where y'all at because y'all know what I'm on. I love Zeke. Okay, let me clarify. I love Zeke. What he did for them Ohio State Buckeyes and the way that they moved, I will never forget.
Period.
I don't like how Dallas treated him. I don't. But I also feel like we got a Zeke already. Now, don't get me wrong, man. You could never have too much talent. I'm not gonna hold
Right.
you. You can never have too much talent, and you never know how things play out. But my I don't know. My devil's advocate to that is, what is the point of a scouting team? What is the point of a developmental system if you're not going to allow the developmental prototypes to have the opportunity to showcase what they've learned?
Facts.
It just makes no sense. Now, I'm saying this in May when nobody's really touched the field.
Right.
We don't even get preseason until August. So, in my opinion, any move in a running back room made that's not made because of injury, and I'm hoping we don't even have no injuries.
Right.
Any move made prior to preseason game 2, I'm not a fan of.
That's
Not
fair.
even in the slightest. Jerome Ford was drafted under the pretenses of learning behind Hunt and being a better, younger version of what Hunt was supposed to be. I don't think Hunt is washed up. I don't think he's the same player he used to be, but I kind of blame the Browns system for that. That's another conversation.
Right.
But I don't put it all on Hunt. I don't like condemning people for doing what you ask them to do. You know what I'm saying? That's like you going to your job and your boss giving you a list of 7 things to do. You do all those things to the best ability you can, and then he try to talk to his higher ups like, "Oh, you're not pulling your weight. You only asked me to do certain things, bro. My minimum requirement is to do what you asked me. Maybe we should reevaluate what my responsibility should have been versus what my performance is.
Right.
That's how I look at it. But Ford and Demetric Felton, I feel so much for Demetric Felton because for one, when Baker was here, Baker consistently missed this man when he was wide open for possible touchdown plays.
Right.
And when this man did get the ball, he made fireworks. He's been in the system 3 years. Why shouldn't he have an opportunity to showcase what he's done?
He should.
John Kelly, a guy who's came in when DeErnest couldn't play, before Jerome, when Felton was a rookie. John Kelly came in and he produced. On top of that, every preseason that he's played with us, he's dominated the backfield when DeErnest Johnson has not played. And shout out to DeErnest over there in Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
He paired with Etienne. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like our running back room is cool where it's at. And we shouldn't make a move until we need to make a move.
Absolutely. At this point, it's all about being strategic. We shouldn't just be doing anything for doing its sake, or for fandom. Uh, at the end of the day, you still got a cap. You still got other things that are in play. These pieces have to complement each other. There's only so many minutes in a game. And that's another thing you have to look at. Some people may not want to come here if they need to be on the field because they're trying to get their next contract. So depending on the position that they serve, that may or may not be advantageous to them, even though they may like the elements that we have. So they have to make informed decisions based on all aspects of the game, not just one dynamic. So you can't make a decision on running backs in isolation.
That is a fact. That is a fact. So So your suggestions is Zeke. Do you have any other running back suggestions? Just for the sake of the combo, any other guys out there that you think could come in and complement Chubb?
No, I was saying a lot of fans are talking about Zeke. I'm not saying Zeke in particular. I don't mind having him, is what I was saying. However, I think like you, we're okay. Like there may be some other needs. So if it came down to it, running back or what would that other gap that you've identified be that you would prefer to fill and go with the running backs we have?
If I had to bring in a guy, I ain't gonna lie, I would I would think it would only be a running back 3. Um, I think if you know if I'm entertaining the conversation wholeheartedly, if anybody would be questioned, it would be Demetric Felton, not because of his ability, but because I could shift him to wide receiver if I just needed to keep him on the roster.
Okay.
He could play multiple positions for me where I could bring in this other running back. But I need a guy who can catch. I need a guy who I could line up at wide receiver sometimes. You know, maybe that's a JD McKissick. You know, maybe
So is
that's
there any other position other than running back that you would prefer over running back?
linebacker.
That's what I'm saying. So if it came down to it, you would rather have a linebacker than go
Yes,
and keep our wide receiver room the same.
absolutely.
And I would get behind that as well.
Linebacker for sure. I played linebacker and middle linebacker and number 1 running back, halfback. Like just playing in the trenches, you know, being able to read the offense, defense, manipulating, like that's like where I'm at with it. So that's for me, you know, those are 2 positions that I always key on, running back and linebacker. I feel like when you have those 2 positions, you always have a chance of influencing and impacting the game on a high level.
So why do you think the Browns don't go after linebackers in the same regard?
Some of the things you were alluding to earlier, you know, these linebackers that we haven't had a chance to really showcase what they can because they didn't have support in the middle.
Okay.
So you know, I mean, JOK is a 2nd round pick. Jacob Phillips is a 3rd round pick. Anthony Walker Jr. is like 27.
Right.
You know what I mean? We still got a Tony Fields down there. And you know, they brought up a couple other guys, but to me, just those 4 guys alone, with Sione Takitaki coming back, whenever he comes back, I'm assuming he's going to start off the year on the PUP list. Excuse me, physically unable to perform this for maybe the first 4 weeks or so. Or he may go on a 6-week IR. However that case go, that 5-man group right there can really do some things.
Right.
You know, like they really can bring it and tackle. Like, you know, people say they're not the best tacklers, but they bring it though. Like they will smack into you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's reckless, maybe it's not. But they gonna put some type of wood on you. So, you know, if I would add anything to that room, it would be one of these available guys that we can trade for, like a Patrick Quinn or like a Isaiah Simmons, who's like number 1 on my list. You know, those type of guys, because I feel like not only are those guys athletic and they're strong, but they're extremely fast and they have great leadership qualities. So
Yeah, I think a lot of Browns fans would prefer Simmons, as I would as well.
you know, and then he over there, he over there, I would say Carolina, with the Cardinals. Listen, hey, Cards, you know, Cards was like my NFC team. I ain't gonna hold you. You know, I used to live in Phoenix. I lived out there for a couple years. I was there when they had the Super Bowl, matter of fact. Seahawks, Patriots, I was there. I'm a chef. So for those who don't know, I am a certified chef by one of my trades. And I spent that specific winter cooking for those teams and the Pro Bowl teams. And that was That was a different experience. A different experience. That's another topic of conversation, but that was a different experience.
That's
So
dope.
Phoenix, you know what I'm saying? Phoenix got a special place in my heart. But listen, y'all going in a new direction. Y'all got Jonathan Gannon over there, and that's cool. Go ahead and let us get Simmons. We do what y'all couldn't do, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's where I'm at with those for sure. One player that doesn't get talked about enough on this offense. I'm not going to say he's overlooked, but I do say he don't get talked about enough, and that's David Njoku.
Agreed.
What type of year do you think he can have? Do you think he will be a Pro Bowler this year?
I need him to catch the ball. I need him to catch the ball. So we got to start at step 1 before we get to step 10. I need him to catch the ball. His frame, his dexterity, his ability to block is wonderful. But more than I need you to block, I need you to catch. And I think that if he puts himself in a position to be successful, he will. So a lot of, to me, what's holding him back is him. He has been put in a position to cook. He's been put in a position to be highly successful. And at times he shined. Like the one catch he had, who was we playing last year? The one touchdown catch he had that was just insane where he wanted to be.
Was that the Saints? Not the Saints. Commanders?
No, may have been.
Commanders.
But if that's what we see from him, absolutely. If I got some small hands. If you're gonna be looking for me to catch the ball and you're gonna see my hands on
I
David
say
Njoku,
I'm not the one. I'm not the one. No, I got
that
you.
ain't gonna be it. I'm gonna need you to catch the ball, not with your body, with your hands. And I think he gives us a lot of advantages. He's going to be hard to defend because of his height. I'm not always a fan of that catch and falling type nonsense, but by far he's our best end to me, and I'm looking forward to what he can do. For a while, he started, I want to be traded and all of that, but then I think he bought in and he wants to be here. And now that we've made changes, it'll be interesting to see what he could do. But he's definitely an easy target.
Easy like Sunday morning.
Right. Or if you don't catch the ball. Which one we get?
Oh, snaps. That was hilarious. Oh, snap. Stop playing with me. I do have high hopes for Njoku this year.
Me too.
Some people will say that when I I favor people so much, I may give them a little more leniency than I give everybody else. And for that might have a little validity to it. I'm not gonna hold you and say I might not be a little biased sometimes, but I really feel like David really hasn't had that many opportunities to be a number 2 pass catching threat. They put so much emphasis on him learning how to block when that's something he already knew how to do. He's weathered a lot of shuffling when it comes to this offense and the philosophy and who's throwing the ball. I think out of everybody outside of Chubb, he's been more effective by the rotation. So I think he playing with a chip on his shoulder this year.
Good.
I'm
Don't play with these. Don't play with these. They too little.
I'm hoping that he gets in the same conversation with Kittle and Kelsey by the end of the year.
That would be nice.
I'm expecting, and And when I say expecting, y'all, right? Not that I'm saying if these guys don't do this, I'm going to be outraged. I'm going to be, outrageously irate and upset and almost in depression. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this is where I think guys can max out at, or where I think a situation can max out at, where I say expectation. And I expect him to be the best tight end in the league this year. That's my expectations for Njoku. He's playing with a chip. He's got paid. He has Watson for a whole offseason. He is the number 2 target in this offense when it comes to passing. I don't care what nobody else tries to bring me. When it comes to passing, Amari Cooper is the number 1 option. David Njoku is the number 2 option. And if he is not, that is an indictment on Kevin Stefanski.
So you going with the bag, the big, hairy, audacious goals?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I need Njoku to give me 10 plus receiving touchdowns this year, and I need to give me 80 catches.
My man Robert Lucas says no.
Luke, big Luke, what you talk about? Know about Luke? Let me know, man. This my big homie from the hood, man. That's my big brother for real, man. What you talking about? Know about, man? Let me know what you talking about, bro. Fill me in. He not gonna do that. What you think he gonna do, big bro? What he giving us this year, man? What you think Njoku gonna do?
He's saying I don't know, but not that.
Not that. Now listen, this is cat. Now let me tell you, man. I mean, big bro, he's a guy that's been around me since childhood. So he's seen me play the game. He's been there. He's seen me mature, grow up, and I respect his opinion.
He's saying he's been the focus every year.
I disagree with that. I would actually say the stats would actually say differently. David Njoku, before he got paid last year, got targeted under 50 times in multiple seasons. A tight end getting under 50 targets through 16 games is a problem, especially when he's one of the best pass catchers on your team. It just makes no sense. Who's David Njoku. Yeah, he wasn't getting a lot of targets over the last couple of years. So
I don't know about last year. I ain't watching nothing. But I know Baker wasn't on the ball for sure.
See what I'm saying?
Baker hit him with the Kobe look off like, no.
I got it this time.
Only his no look was literal.
That is funny.
Oh, you straight? I know.
Yeah, no, you good. I already knew you good. So, but I got David Njoku. I need 10. Luke say, but you can't count on him, so don't throw it to him. It's easy to say you can't count on somebody when you're not giving them the opportunity to be counted on. It's easy for me to say a person can't perform when I'm not giving him the full opportunity to display what he does. And when you give somebody the full opportunity, you don't micromanage them. You say, listen, I'm going to give you every opportunity to do the best you can. And we can't say that Cleveland has given him the best opportunity to do the best he can for the whole 5 years he's been in the league. Or 6, because he got drafted with Myles Garrett. So, like I say, a lot of people may not be high on him, but the Browns paid him $14 million a year for a reason. They signed him to a 5-year deal for a reason. I don't think it was to not get him involved. I'm saying you don't pay people $14 million to block. You just don't do that. You know what I mean? But we go
on injuries, like back of hand contusion or something weird where he'll go out consistently. They're not major injuries that keep him out for a season, but they're annoying nuisances to your offense. So some of that may be on him, but it'll be interesting to see. So I'm gonna hold you to this.
I still, what I think about the most when I'm defending Njoku, I think about the year Baker set him up and almost got his neck broke.
Yeah, that was
And
crazy.
I feel like people forget that. You know what I'm saying? Like he was really going all out, and Baker set him up and almost ended his career. You know what I mean? And I just feel like, you know, Lemons Blue, what's good, baby? What's good with you, King? How you feeling? I always think of that when I'm defending Njoku because I felt like that was really on Baker, and I almost and it's wrong to a degree, but I almost feel like he did it on purpose, and it's probably what turned me off from Baker. You know what I'm saying? I felt like he did a lot of different things on purpose to sabotage the team. But Baker's not here. That is a whole
Right,
different
moving on.
realm. You know what I'm saying? But that's just one of the things I use when I'm defending him. I may be harping on it too much, but I understand that. DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports, streaming on multiple media platforms. Right now, we live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Follow us on IG at Industry Sports or at DeeTrynt. I'm co-hosting right now with the lovely Miss Queen, giving us great feedback. Cleveland Zone. All right. We talking football. We blending topics in right now. We're gonna go to a league view, and to pop off the league view, I'm going to ask you about the Browns schedule. Your thoughts on the schedule first.
I don't actually feel like our schedule looks that difficult to me. I still think we're in a position to win 10 plus games based on the schedule. I think that some Browns fans are in this show me state where they want to see it before it happens, but you can't think like that when you're an athlete. I don't, you going to win. You got to have the right mentality. That's that playing not to lose mentality that I don't like. I play to win. So we're going to run the score up. We shooting the 3 at the buzzer, all that. we going to win. So for me, I didn't think that the schedule seemed daunting. Every year you're going to come across some of the better contenders in the league. It's just the nature of the beast. I mean, you got to play somebody. In terms of the division, I think we probably got the best division in terms of competitiveness. It'll be interesting to see. I think Pittsburgh is going to finish last in our division. Be clear. And then I think first place is a toss-up. And then let the chips fall as they may. So either we're going to go get it, or we're going to do what we've done in the past and play not to lose and get frustrated with the first season opener game at home against the Jets, where we gave the game away with no time practically left on the clock. And I'm walking off the stadium to my car and Jets fans running up trying to come for me. And I'm like, what's wrong with these people? And then I ran into somebody I know and they told me, we about to lose this game. What you mean? What you mean? So I'm not looking for none of that this year. The schedule is the schedule. I like that we jumping off the year with the Bungles. I mean the Bengals, because
The
it's
Bungles.
gonna let
I'm
us
about to
show
use
improve.
that.
It's gonna let us show improve. So we don't have time to try to get to the good games. We gonna start off. Let's bring the heat. Let's bring the fire. Let's bring the noise and go get it. We at home. We dogs. We can't be out here playing like cats. We dogs.
I know that's right.
So let's get it.
No, the Bungles. I gotta start using that. The Bungles. And listen, y'all, for those who not hip, right? We, Queen and myself, various other, and I mean it's like 40 of us, right? We heavy on the spaces, and we talk about our Cleveland sports and these things, and we go back and forth like crazy with our division. All right. Ravens, Steelers, and Bengals fans every day. All right. We go back and forth with Ravens fans, but lately, while they was going through they like Lamar thing, we ain't really bother them like that. We, what I'm saying, as a team in Cleveland who understands going through controversies and crazy things like that, we ain't really bother them. But now that they got their squad, we at y'all neck too. Ain't nobody safe. You know what I'm saying? The Bungles, you know what I'm saying? The Squealers and them little I don't know if I
Pros.
call him a Raven, bro. I'm gonna call him Dubs.
Ratbirds. Ratbirds.
The who?
Ratbirds.
Whack birds. There we go.
Ratbirds.
The Bungles, the
The
Squillers, and the
pigeons.
Whack birds. I'm down with that. You know what I'm saying? So, what I like about our schedule, the most, is that we have the opportunity to set the standard for the league. And I know people say, what is D talking about, bro? What is DeeTrynt talking about? That's a crazy statement. If you can see, if you viewing this, we got the schedule on the screen. 3 of our first 4 games are against divisional opponents, and 3 of those games of the first 4 are at home. All right. So we got at home against Cincy. We drive to Pittsburgh. If you don't know, Pittsburgh is like 2 hours away from Cleveland. All right. Drive to Pittsburgh just to come back home for 3 straight home games, which is virtually 4 straight weeks. All right. Cincinnati been talking the most. These Bungles been outrageous. They just be talking like they squad so fire, all right, when they've had help the last few years, all right, they've performed. They did the job and handled the opportunity that was in front of them. I'm not taking that away from them. But y'all ain't fire like that, bro. Y'all ain't raw like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna talk my trash. I'm hoping we put up 40 on y'all first game. 40.
We 3-1 against them. I don't know what they be talking about.
Joe Burrow could be everybody but whoever in Cleveland. That's
And Miles
crazy.
Garrett, he coming for you.
Miles, listen, last year, Joe Burrow had a horrible first 4 game start. Horrific. Bro, you might start the same way this year because he's starting off against the Browns. Your offensive line ain't good enough to check our defensive line. What you think? Where you at with it, Queen, with the Cincinnati?
I mean, what I don't like about some of the Bengals fans is that they're not able to be objective. I'm all about perspective. So we could talk about the good and bad of every team, and we do that with our own. So most of the people I rock with, even in spaces or just in general, we're able to do that. We can critique ourselves and critique others. Some of these teams, you know, they act like they the Pro Bowl or something. They got the Pro Bowl squad. And it's like, no, we all have flaws. So I like it best when we can come together with other fans and actually talk sports. We can talk trash too because it's fun. But when we can talk sports. But some of the things that they say are just ridiculous to me, given the fact that over the last 4 times we played them, you only beat us once. And we played like trash. So we pretty much let you do that. So I'm optimistic about our first 4 games, to be honest with you. I have a lot of optimism. Again, what are we going to come out like? We coming out to put our foot on the gas? It's like the Denver and Laker game. Denver came out with their foot on the gas. They lacked depth in some positions. So as they started to lift that foot up, the Lakers started to make a run. They could have potentially lost that game. You can't play not to lose. You got to keep your foot on the gas and go. If that means you got to play the whole game, if that means you got to do this, that, or the third, if that means somebody got to step up, next man up, go get it.
That's a fact.
We can't play like that no more. So if you take the right mentality along with the talent to the field, you don't have to be better than somebody for 6 years. Like people, oh, Pittsburgh got this many chips. We're not trying to be better than y'all 1980 whatever team. We're trying to be better for an hour. That's it. That's all that matters. That one game, that period of time, hour and a half, whatever long the game is, we only need to be good for that. And then if you break it down further into the 2 halves, we only need to be good for this many minutes. That's how I look at it. Put your foot on the gas and don't let up. Every position. And when I see somebody letting up, who up? Next? You. Out here. Get them off the field. We ain't got it in us to do anymore. It's win or go home. That's how I see it. Let's get it. I wish it was tomorrow. And we got the Hall of Fame game to kick us off in Canton this summer, just to give us a little taste. So I'm excited. I think that this schedule will fare well for us. And you just never know. People talk about, oh, they've been together longer and this and that. Jacksonville got rid of their coach mid-season, didn't make a lot of moves, didn't have a lot of picks, et cetera, and so forth. Came back the next year and made it to the playoffs. No, they didn't go to the Super Bowl, but it doesn't matter. Some of it is coaching and heart. Get out there and play the game. This is not Pee Wee football. This is not the development league. Get out there and play the game. Development is for our practice squad. That's where you get right at. The gym is for development. A trainer is for development. But when you step foot on that field, you a dog. Go get it. That's how I feel. D, you there? You in the Matrix? Can't hear you.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Okay.
here. I'm here, Queen. I'm just taking this phone call right quick. Give me a couple seconds, darling.
All right. So I'm asking all Browns fans to get on board, get off this crybaby perspective of what we weren't and what we haven't been, and approach it like we approach anything else. You don't go shopping for a car hoping you get one that was worse than what you had last year. You go shopping for a car to get something new.
Queen,
Get something that's going to start up. Get something that's going to go. So that's what we're doing.
You hitting all the spots right now, Queen. That's why I just went on mute and I went on here because you was hitting all the spots. Listen, the negativity is retarded. All right.
Even Juan said something. It's bad. Like, what we doing?
Listen, and I feel
crazy.
like
we dogging ourselves. Who does that? Just come home and start talking about your significant other, going in on your kids all the time. Like, what? We look crazy.
I really feel like
that ain't for the streets.
I feel like the media, the local media in Cleveland has brainwashed a large part of the fan base.
Yeah.
They're
Baker Bros.
Listen. The same Baker Bros, that was Johnny Bros. Okay. These same guys who was mad at Hugh Jackson, and I'm going to say this. Everybody was mad at Hugh Jackson, but if the Browns would have did what Hugh Jackson asked, we would have been had a franchise quarterback. Been had him. The same guys that we're praising, the Mahomes, the Watsons,
the Allens.
These were guys that Hugh Jackson was pounding the table for. He made a spectacle about. But you know what the local media did? They painted him as a bad seed in the organization. They painted him as a bad seed for guys who were the actual bad seeds. A la John Dorsey. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really understand. So, side note, and this is something BG says a lot in our spaces. This is the most well put together from front office to the bottom of the roster set that Cleveland has had ever.
Agreed.
Ever. We as a fan base were positive and going all off the rails about teams that literally went 4-12, 3-13, 5-11. We're with a regime right now that hasn't won under 8 games the entire time they've been here. Ain't that the same thing we praise Tomlin for?
Yep.
That he's been over there 15 plus years. He's never went under 8 wins. But you got guys talking about, Stefanski should be fired.
We got some fans that need therapy. They struggling.
They struggling. No, you know what? Struggling might be an understatement. They got PTSD.
It's bad. It's
Okay?
like trauma.
You know what I'm saying? We gotta call Dr. Phil, Oprah. You know what I'm saying? They might need additional
We
military
got to go deeper. They
PTSD
need to
coaching.
tap into their insurance and call and ask them to find a provider. They need the real doctors. Dr. Phil is not a medical professional. He's
Man,
somebody that deemed himself Dr. Phil. I can call myself Dr. Terrell, except I have a credential that says so. So be clear. They need to find a provider.
no, for real. They definitely need to they most definitely our fan base need to have a little more faith, because me personally, I don't want to see a change. The one change, or I'm sorry, the two changes that I did want to see. Watson, oh, look at this, look at, you know, we got the pictures up. That's them in Puerto Rico
Puerto
as a team.
Rico. They should have took us.
I know that's right.
I'm
Definitely
here
should
for
have
the
gave me
beats.
the invite. You know what I'm saying? I write the articles up for you on the laptop right there, looking
Brotherhood.
at
Look
that
at it.
beautiful blue water. Listen, okay?
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Look at us.
That's good leadership, man. Watson a good leader.
Yes.
I'm lightweight jealous a little bit though.
Yes.
Hold on, that weather look good on that blue
Just
water
go. I don't
though.
need a passport. Let's get it. Let's go.
In Puerto
I need to
Rico,
be there.
that look good. Look, oh Watson. That's what I'm saying. Watson is such a leader, man.
That's what I'm
Is
saying.
that
You got to
Elijah
change your
Moore?
mindset. You got to have a growth mindset. You got to get out of this negative energy. I'm telling you, don't nobody wake up in the morning, or at least you shouldn't, because like I said, if you do, find a provider. But you just get up dogging yourself. Oh my God, my hair look terrible. Oh, look at my outfit. Oh, look at these shoes. Oh, look at this. Oh, my job is off. Oh, people like that are miserable.
No, for real.
Sports are supposed to be fun. We're supposed to enjoy them. Yes, it's frustrating to lose. Don't talk to me 2 hours after the game. However, I need that refractory period.
No, for real.
However,
no, for real.
You know, it's got to be more than this to life. And I'm excited about the potential for this team. I'm excited about this schedule. I'm excited about our fan base. We might bicker, disagree. I was in a space where X and Marshawn was going at it about who was the best quarterback the Browns ever had. And they didn't, it was like they didn't know how to answer questions. So Marshawn saying Deshaun Watson, and the other people from other teams and other places was saying no, so-and-so, and this person, that person. And, you know, they diving into the question. One cat was carrying on about being a professor. I mean, he told us that about 90 times. And nobody seemed to care, because I know I didn't. I was tired of hearing it. But nonetheless.
What is he professor of? What these professors of opinions? We're all professors of opinions.
I mean, he was a college professor, but he just kept saying, that's why you guys don't get good grades on tests. You don't know how to answer questions. It's like, what is this? The ACT? Like, we talking sports. Let this man have an opinion. So they was going back and forth. But again, I'm just getting to the place where talk is cheap. I want us to show and shock the world this season. Whatever that looks like for us. We're not going to win every game. But if we do, y'all not going to shut me up. You might as well run this stream for 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, because you ain't going to shut me up.
We go 17 and 0.
It's time for me to come forward. And when I come, it's going to be like when I join my sorority. I'm going to be paraphernalia from head to toe. I got on the socks, the shoes, the hat. I don't know. They got gloves, wristbands, the ring, the necklace, the earrings. I'm going to put on a headband. I'm out here.
Say I'm out here in these streets.
I'm out here.
Really?
Browns, go Browns.
I ain't gonna lie.
People with Browns paraphernalia on, and I say, go Browns when I see them.
I ain't gonna lie. The Browns go 17 and 0. I ain't gonna shut up. I ain't gonna hold you. I am gonna be obnoxious. Okay.
I'm gonna need a voice transplant, because I'm gonna lose my voice.
Listen, you won't be able to tell a Cleveland fan nothing. We go 17 and 0. I'm talking about, look, You talk
thought
about
it
the
was bad
city
when we
lit?
came back from down 3-1. Don't let us go 17-0. Don't y'all let that happen, NFL. Don't do it.
You know what's so crazy about that? The Browns to go 17-0, can make it to the playoffs and not win it, and that is a win for us. Not to say like winning the Super Bowl, we wouldn't be disappointed. But as me and Queen have alluded to and said a few times on this stream, you got to get to step 1 before you get to step 2. You got to get to step 2 before you get to step 3. The fact that if we can string together back-to-back wins, that is a plus.
Absolutely.
To win the division, that is a plus. Okay? To go undefeated, listen, that would rock the whole league.
We might shut the NFL down. That happens.
Y'all
No, they ain't ready for that.
Do you know how many? I don't think other fan bases really know how many Browns fans there are around the world.
It might get crazy.
So I'm gonna ask you before we vote, because before now, I know as much as a Queen is a football fan, I know she's an even bigger basketball fan.
Yes,
right?
sir.
So before we end the stream, I'm going to ask you a couple basketball questions for sure. All right. But the last question on football, I'm going to ask you. What chances do you give the Browns to surpass the Bills and Chiefs as the number 1 seed this year?
Whew. You looking for an odd or a percentage out of 100%?
Either that. I mean, yeah. Give me a percentage.
I look at the Chiefs differently than the Bills. A lot of these teams might be successful during the regular season, but the Bills always seem to fall short in the postseason. So I'm going to give us a 50-50 chance against the Bills.
Okay.
To outperform them. As it relates to the Chiefs, they're a unique team because I watch them sometimes and I don't necessarily see what happens in the outcome. I don't always see that coming. There were times last year when they just played poorly at the beginning of the season, almost similarly to the Bengals. So I'm gonna say a 40% chance against them, just because I think their coach has solidified a system that works for them. And even when we want to count them out, they tend to show up and shine. So I got to give respect where it's due.
That's a fact.
And at the end of the day, some of these spaces and people talking about their teams, we was all at home watching the Super Bowl, most of the people I'm debating with. So yes, it's better to win more games, but at the end of it all, I want to win. I want to keep playing when everybody else is at home. So I think that's the ultimate goal, because the Chiefs have been able to do that. I got to get them respect.
I'm going to say, when you made that prediction or suggestion or, relayed your thoughts, did you have in mind that Eric Bieniemy is no longer there?
No, I did not.
He is with the Commanders now. He is their offensive coordinator.
Ooh.
Do you think that plays a factor in the percentage that you gave?
Potentially, I'm going to go to 45 then.
Ooh, we got increased chances. That's what I'm talking about.
Sometimes you got to give respect where it lies. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't discredit the pieces that are there. Eric Spoelstra beating the Boston at home game 1. He's a great coach. You take him away, that may or may not happen. So you got to factor that in to the odds. Odds aren't always real favorable. You put in a parlay like I did last night and lost because Bam didn't want to rebound. I'm just saying, killed me.
Wait, that's funny. Wait, we about to transition to that.
These are my odds. You can bet on them if you want to or not. You may or may not win, but I believe you're going to be successful.
See, this thing we got on the screen right here, this is why we don't like the Bungles. They are unrealistic. They're unrealistic.
They done checked up. They done won every game. Who did they lose to? Let me see here.
The Ravens once, the Steelers once, and the
So they gonna lose
Bills.
to the Steelers, but not us. Come on, come on.
The
I can't
Steelers
take y'all
don't even
serious.
got a team.
I can't take y'all serious.
This is what I'm saying. This is
I
why
can't
we
take you
be
serious.
disrespecting them. This is why we disrespect them. Because y'all just post the most outlandish things. A franchise who, oh, you know what? I'm not even about to give y'all airtime like that. Just this is unrealistic though.
I
This is
agree.
unrealistic. All right. If I'm going to give the Bengals a prediction based on this schedule, I'm giving them 10-7. I'm giving them 10-7.
And I would
All right.
respect whoever this was if they had them at 11, but 14-3. Come on.
Bro, they don't even know what they. Anyway, all right. So basketball, DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports. All right. We streaming on multiple media platforms: Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Follow us on IG. And when I say follow us on IG, I mean you can follow us on each one of these platforms under the same names: Industry Sports or at DeeTrynt. We also have the website InDaStreetzSportz.com, where you can take out the latest articles about things about all sports, especially Cleveland local sports. For all my Clevelanders, all my Ohioans, if you have little leagues, high schools, middle schools, or just different athletes and stuff that you want to highlight, it can even be scholastically. If you got them you want to highlight, email us, come in, inbox us, let us know. We'll do a spotlight for them. We're trying to highlight all the talent that we have back in Ohio because we don't get that type of publicity. All right. So we here for the land, we here for the city, and that isn't just limited to Ohio. Wherever you at in the country, if you got young athletes and things like that, or different topics that you want spotlighted, hit us up. Let us know. We'll bring it to the table. We'll bring you up while we bring it to the table. All right, and we'll talk about these things. But if you miss us streaming live, you can catch us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, various other multimedia streaming platforms. All right, at Industry Sports Channel, like, subscribe, share, and from there you will find Game Changer Sports Talk with DeeTrynt. And today is with DeeTrynt and Miss Queen. As I was saying earlier, she is a lot more knowledgeable in basketball than I am. I don't think she knows that. It's the first time I'm admitting that. Like, she knows a
We
lot more.
balance each other out because you got me with football.
You know what I'm saying? And I, football is like my first love. It's been like my first sports love ever, but basketball is number two. I come from a family where they're all basketball heads, and I'm the only football head. So,
Okay.
I know things about basketball, but when it comes down to X's and O's, I don't know that like I know football. So we recently just had the NBA draft lottery. Bro, let me get that lottery up there if I can. The NBA draft lottery. Spurs get number
Nostalgic.
one.
Nostalgic.
All right. What do you feel about how the lottery played out, and with the top prospects, who do you think should go where?
Um, I think it was unfortunate for Detroit. I kind of felt bad for the fellas. After that season they had last year, it's like, ooh. Uh, I mean, let us pray. You feel me? Because that was bad. We might need to hold hands and do a quick kumbaya for the Pistons. I felt bad for the
Man.
brothers.
Why y'all feeling so bad for them,
I
man?
mean, because they weren't even tanking. They just lost. Like, they just was bad.
They
And
was
so
just bad. That's
I
true.
understand that the league wants to try and create a scenario of fairness as best they can. So they take those bottom performers, but is it fair to take the worst performer and just automatically make them number one? I don't think so. These types of situations just aren't going to be fair. There's no such thing as fair. I tell people that all the time. You could be in a fist fight. Somebody got bigger hands. Somebody is stronger. Somebody has better agility, whatever. So, oh, let it be a fair fight. It's never going to be fair. Someone always has the advantage, win or lose. So I'm glad that the Spurs got the first pick because Popovich is a coach on a different level, in my opinion. And I think that he will help that young man develop effectively. He'll bring him in, and I think he has the ability to make him great. So I don't know enough about who's in free agency or whatever. I've been looking at more of football lately in terms of each of the top 5 picks as to what their needs are. So I can't really say who should go where because I really haven't dug into that yet. I'm still mad about the Cavs and being a season ticket holder. I'm gonna just be honest with you. So other than watching basketball and enjoying the postseason, I haven't dove into that enough. But I'm almost happy the Spurs got the first pick, not just from a win-loss perspective, but from a development perspective for that young man. I think that Popovich is a good place for him to be, the coach.
I agree with the Popovich standpoint, especially being that when I heard that young man say, "My country has a special place in their heart for San Antonio," and the majority of the country wanted me to go to San Antonio. I don't care if it's rigged or not. It's good business to make sure he goes there.
Look
It's
at all
just,
the players they had from France. Parker, I mean, they've had, ironically, even when they didn't have a first pick, a lot of them landed there for whatever reason. And I think that that's a good place for him to land. I think those people wrap their arms around him, offer the support and development he needs. He's young. He I don't necessarily like that the rules are different for the players coming from other countries than they are here. You know, where they want you to go to college for a year and all of that. For what? You just ruining the college team. You go get this kid on loan for a year, and then you know they leaving. So it makes it really hard for college teams to develop fully because every year they got a new squad. So I got mixed feelings about that, and even how everybody can just jump ship from team to team now. So it's like a blessing and a curse all at the same time. So I'm happy for where he landed. I really am.
no, I definitely feel you on that. So it's just to comment on the one and done rule. I'm okay with it right now because of the NIL. And
Okay.
because these colleges have to adjust. Listen, in any job, you're going to have somebody who can come in and be so spectacular that you know they're bigger than what Cherry's been brought to. You
Yeah.
know they're going to go. But again, with the NIL, you're going to have guys who would be career college players that's going to stay in the system where even though that one guy's leaving, those other 5, 6, 7 guys are still going to be there. So a culture can be built, a system can be built, and you don't have to have guys trying to outperform the star because they like, bruh, you gonna go to the league and get millions, but we already getting millions right now in college with a free education. So I'm cool with the one and done for the next 5 seasons. After that, they have to bring back straight from high school.
Agreed.
They got to bring it back. I'm only on a limited time with this one and done, just because you have to have that grace period for everybody to get adjusted to the process.
Right.
As far as the draft, I wanted the Hornets to get the number 1 pick
Why?
because why Jordan ain't got a number 1 pick? Jordan had been here his whole time. He done been in the top 10 20 times. He ain't never had the number 1. I think the highest he's ever had was the pick when he got LaMelo, and that was 3. So I felt like, why Jordan can't get a number 1? That was me. That was just me personally. I also
Isn't he
like
a
the
minority
idea.
owner though?
No, he's the majority owner. He's about to sell his majority share.
Right. So why you want him to get it? He out. Chalk up the deuces. Let him ride.
That's cool, but that city still had to suffer though. Like, even if he is on the way out the door, give him a number 1 on the way out the door. What's wrong with that? listen,
Nothing. I would have been okay with them getting it, but I'm okay with the Spurs.
Like Victor and LaMelo just seemed like a power combo to me. That's how I looked at it. Like you got two super tall guys that can do everything on the floor and make everybody around them better. That is literally a problem. Period. But
I mean, it would be a problem for whoever got him.
I don't know, man. I some of these. So listen, if Portland would have got the number 1 pick, I was going to push for them to trade him. They either got to trade it or trade Dame. If Detroit would have got the number 1 pick, I would have felt some type of way. I'm not going to hold you. I would have felt some type of way. Detroit, and I'm going to tell you why. Detroit has Jaden Hardy? Jalen? Is Jalen Hardy? I think it's Jalen. Because I think Jaden is in Dallas. I always mix them two names up. But they got the Hardy guy. You got Cade Cunningham. You have James Wiseman. You have Marvin Bagley. My guy. Those are all top 3 picks. What are we talking about? What else do
nothing.
you
He ain't talking about nothing as it relates to the Pistons.
You already got Jalen Duran, you got Killian Hayes, who are even more top 10 picks. Bruh, develop what you got.
You still got work to do. That's what you're coming with.
Yeah, like you ain't even did what you got, but you want something else? You miss me with that. I'm not a supporter.
Greedy. We greedy out here in these streets. We want more.
Man, if that's the case, then the Cavs should have got it. If that's the case, then the Cavs should have got the pick.
Yeah, period. Now we can go. We'll take them.
But okay, now we know Victor going number 1. My initial thought was, dang, Scoop probably about to go to Portland because Portland got 3. Because I'm thinking Brandon Miller was probably the fit in for the Hornets. But I ain't gonna lie. I like Imani Bates better than him.
Why?
Because Imani has a real all-around game. Like Brandon Miller could play both ways. Mm-hmm. But if he not hitting his shot, he ain't as engaged. Don't get me wrong, he'll shoot through it. But you were shooting through it as the dominant guy on the team when they didn't have a choice. Imani Bates had been through something. He didn't had to get knocked down a level and work his way back. He hungry.
That's
and
fair.
He has the same skill set, if not more, than Brandon Miller.
That's fair.
So I ain't knocking him. But if where I was at with the Hornets taking Brandon Miller, I would rather him take Imani Bates. But to be honest, you have to take the best player available when you don't have nothing. And Scoot Henderson with LaMelo Ball is a problem.
We'll see.
The only other thing they would need to do is figure out what they do with Mikal Bridges, trade Terry Rozier, bring back PJ Washington, and try to get a real center down there. And if they do that, we're talking about a whole different look to this Hornets team.
Well, they're going to also have to build depth.
I mean, they got depth, though. They got? The Kai Jones guy they selected. They still, I think they traded Vernon Carey to Washington. They still got James Bouknight. Like, they got some pieces down there on the young side. If anything, they need veterans.
No, that's the kind of depth I'm talking about. I'm not talking about young depth. But you still got to have those vets. Like the Cavs giving up Kevin Love. I mean, he's not giving the Heat 60 points a game, but he's giving them 8 meaningful points. He's giving them meaningful minutes. He's giving them rebounds. He's giving them the right pass in the right situation. So he plays smarter because he's a veteran. He's been in the league. He understands league dynamics, et cetera, and so forth. You have too many youngins that are still adjusting from college or if they're coming from overseas, from whatever country's pro league to the United States game. It's an adjustment period. So it's not always about just having good players. I don't know what Dallas did, but I'm saying Kyrie and the backcourt didn't play well together. It wasn't because of talent. Their team was very talented. So you still got to mesh. You still got to be cohesive. It still got to work at the end of the day. And coaching matters. So I was shocked to see all these coaches get let go, who to me have had, not all of them, but some of them to me have been very effective coaches. And then the Cavs, we still holding on with JB. So it's all about the dynamics. It's all about the dynamics. What makes sense for the organization and why? So if you make a coaching change, it changes things. Are you, ready to put the Hornets coach on a pedestal? Because I'm not. I'm not convinced that's the person to get what you're saying done,
The
whether
Hornets
Jordan is the
coach.
majority owner or not. Yeah.
So, I evaluate things. I'm noticing I evaluate things a lot differently than a lot of people. Um, when it comes to basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just hit like 5 hot button topics. That's so funny. You did it just so smooth and casual, though. Like, yeah, and this one and this. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, she on one for sure. All right, first, let me say, Nerdy Yella said, when we was talking about the draft, he said he wanted Portland to get Victor. And then he said he was happy Detroit didn't get him. So I guess he was with us in some of those respects. Because I don't want him in my division. I already got Giannis here. All right. We got an emerging Pacers. The Bulls still here. All right. I don't need no more drama. All right.
Right.
Kevin Love. He was here too long. I understand what everybody gonna say about veteran leadership and all this crazy stuff, but I'm not gonna forget the 2.5 years beforehand when he was a POS and he was a locker room cancer, and all he did was cry and complain after getting paid, and then because he didn't want to play it. I'm not saying, and from somebody who has experienced this, I will never downplay mental health.
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to men. Not when it comes to nobody. I ain't putting it like it's. I'm just saying though, as a man,
Right.
when it comes to men, like it's a lot more of a deal than everybody wants to give it credit for. All right, but bro, when you play the game you love and you're getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars and not even being forced to play, you better call your psychiatrist. You better talk to your wife. You better call your moms or your granny or whoever it is elder in your life that you can still talk to. I don't want to hear you acting out as a veteran in the locker room, allowing a Kevin Porter Jr. to feel like he can talk to everybody the way he want because you acting the way you want. I ain't forget that. Kevin was here too long. I was so happy when he left. I don't want him back. If it's up to me, he don't get his number retired here. Go back to Minnesota. That's how pissed off I am at Kevin Love. Now, maybe in a couple seasons, I'll digress. Now, not be in an emotional state about it. But right now, have fun in Miami. I'm glad you're in Miami. I don't want you nowhere near Cleveland. Don't even come back to visit. When y'all come play us next year, don't come. I don't want you here. Don't give him a tribute. I don't like him. That's just me personally. You hit the coaches that got fired. I am of the minority that says every last one of those coaches deserved to got fired. I'm also of the minority that says they're all overrated. Monty Williams wasn't even a good player, let alone a good coach. Doc Rivers wasn't a good player and ain't been a good coach the whole 24 years he's been coaching. Mike Budenholzer got called out by Giannis for not being able to make in-game adjustments, but everybody's talking about Mike Budenholzer, good coach. All these guys have been coaching longer than JB. Every last one of them. JB inherited a team that had nothing. Not a culture, not a star, not a continuity. They didn't even have cap space or draft picks. That's what he signed up for. In 4 seasons, 5 seasons, he went from a 19-win team to a 51-win team, and he undoubtedly does not have a complete roster. He didn't even have a bench. Is JB perfect?
No.
Not at all. Do he need to improve his in-game adjustment ability?
Yes.
Absolutely. Does he need to adjust his play style to
Yes.
fit the strength of his teams? Absolutely. But Doc Rivers didn't have 20 years. Budenholzer that had 15 years. Monty Williams that had 12. I cannot hold.
What you think about Nick Nurse?
He's overrated. You came in and inherited a team Dwayne Casey built. Dwayne Casey did exactly what JB's doing. Same thing Mark Jackson done. And people was going to give Nick Nurse and Steve Kerr credit for things that they didn't build. Steve Kerr was a front office executive for Phoenix before he went to Golden State, and he literally destroyed the Phoenix team. That they had to bring in James Jones from off the Cavs to the front office. He did such a bad job.
Facts.
Steve Kerr has had the luxury of playing with a ready-built core the whole time. And the only thing difference between him and Mark Jackson is that Steve Kerr actually shot threes. And he played for championship teams where he was the premier three-point shooter on that team. I'll give him that. That don't mean you good. I'll give him
why did they get rid of Mark Jackson in your opinion?
Because he's too religious. These reports already came out. It had nothing to do with Mark Jackson as the coach or the strategist. It's because he brought too much Christianity into locker rooms. That I understand from a business and people standpoint because everybody's not Christian. You can't force your religion on people or your point of view. You have to respect every person as their own individual and whatever they believe. To me, that is enough to fire somebody because that's detrimental to locker room culture. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference if your core is Christians. Then you have a leg to stand on. But we all know that ain't the case. I would rather see Steve Kerr get another coaching opportunity before any of these other guys because he is a proven champion. He is a proven champion because he's done it multiple times. Budenholzer won a championship because of Giannis. And for some reason, Chris Middleton found his groove. Other than that, Milwaukee underperformed. Doc Rivers was coach of the year in 2000. He got a ring because of Rondo. That's not taking nothing away from KG, Paul Pierce, the truth, or Ray Allen, or even Kendrick Perkins, who was the big bully man. I don't give Kendrick a lot of credit, but I'll give him credit for being that enforcer guy on that team. I will not take that away from him. But Rondo won that championship. Rondo was the maestro and the orchestrator of that championship. And Doc Rivers was so jealous of him, he forced him out. This man had Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, JJ Redick, Jamal Crawford, Paul Pierce, DeAndre Jordan, Chris Kaman, all on the same roster and never won a championship. Come on, man. Where does that tell me you're a good coach at?
I don't think he could.
I will give Nick Nurse a little more leniency because I've seen Toronto play better than their talent would suggest.
Agreed.
So I'll give him a little more credit. But those other guys, they bench coaches. Ain't neither one of them a head coach.
And I think Nick Nurse did a good job in terms of defensive strategy. They go get it. They play with aggression, sometimes maybe to the border of crossing the line a little bit in terms of being dirty, but you can't take them lightly. They don't take no quarters off defensively. And if they can click on offense, they're a powerhouse. They could be a powerhouse. So I agree with you. I have no disagreements on what you assert. Agreed.
Toronto ain't never had no real scores. I don't know what made them think Gary Trent Jr. was a scorer.
They had Kawhi. I'm just saying. He took him to the ship and bounced.
I'm glad you said it like that. Kawhi took them to the ship. And this is no knock on Nick Nurse, but you was just along for the ride. He was just along for the ride. I could name 9 other coaches. If they would have had that team and Kawhi won it, they probably would have won a ring too. If Kawhi don't hit the game-winning shot on Philly, we're not even having this conversation.
I agree with Atlanta getting rid of their coach mid-season.
He's trash.
Yeah, so I agree with that.
McMillan trash. He was a trash basketball player. But people will get mad at me. Oh, but he went to the finals with the Seattle Supersonics when they played Jordan. What happened?
Supersonic. I like that.
Oh, snap. Queen, it has been a pleasure to have you on today.
For sure.
I've enjoyed this a lot. I am, inviting you to come back whenever you're ready. We come up here. The next one, we can cover total basketball. All right. And really just be in your zone with it. And I can, sit here and listen to you and see how you get your overall evaluation of things. But thank you for coming on.
We don't went viral. We don't went viral together. We out here.
We out here in these streets. I put the link up on that. I put the link up on that. On that thread too. I say, oh, y'all might as well come up. Look, viewers, let's see what's going on.
I never even thought it would go that far because people don't know relationship. So when I was saying something to you, whenever you post something, I tend to respond, even if I'm just being silly. And I was being silly, partially being silly, but I know that particular clip, it was deeper. What you were saying was deeper than the clip. And people don't understand our relationship. So when I was responding like, D, come on. I mean, the fact that I called you by name, I thought it would give it away a little bit, but they came for your whole life.
Hey, listen, no lie. I BS y'all not. From when did that go up? I think I did that yesterday morning.
Days ago,
Monday. It was like, no, it was yesterday. That was yesterday morning.
6,000 likes.
I have over 4,000 notifications from that thread. 4,000 notifications. I have people retweeting me. This is what I don't like. Do not retweet me and then mute me from the conversation. I will block you. I have no problem with a person.
Some people cross the line a little bit, like say your opinion, but the personal attacks, like I don't know, somebody was saying something about your character. I don't like that. No, they don't know you.
You don't even know me. They have no clue. I am the oldest of 20-something siblings. I have over 10 sisters. I have over 100 cousins. Okay, and I am the oldest. Please don't talk to me about morality or responsibility or being engaged in rumor scenarios. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't here to preach the choir. I'm just saying, like, don't attack a character that you don't have. And it's clear by the way y'all talk and tweet and try to attack that a lot of y'all don't have this type of character. So, I was raised mature enough to not always engage and learn that everything don't deserve your energy. And that's why I say, when you get on that type of time, I could just block you. I don't know you to care.
Yeah, and I think we all get guilty of that to a certain extent. You just can't respond to everything. And we all get caught up because someone say something that strikes a nerve. I'm not even talking about a trigger or anything traumatic, but just the gall, the unmitigated gall. And beyond that, the fact that like, where are you coming from? And I think the people with no profile pic, no followers, the trolls that, want to be inappropriate or kind of cross the line, it's like keyboard gangsters. Y'all hide behind a computer or a cell phone, typing away. I'm tough on Twitter, and so it can get ugly sometimes. I remember I was in the sports time. I was like, well, we can meet up, but we can talk in person. And then, the story, the game change or whatever. But I got to stop doing that. And so,
No, but
I got
as
to
a
stop arguing with strangers on Twitter. It's
as
one of
Cleveland,
my things I'm
yeah.
trying to do. I'm trying to do
Listen,
it.
as a Clevelander, we are all for the pull up. What y'all don't know about Cleveland is that it's small. Okay, it's very small. It is easy for me to argue with you online and see you later that day. It does not matter the neighborhood. Okay. What a lot of these keyboard gangsters around the world don't understand is that there are a lot of computer savvy people. I could literally go and pull up your IP address, and I'm not even an IT master, but I can go find your direct location on my own. It's really not that hard. Like, y'all really don't know the type of trees y'all be barking up. Y'all just be talking. So you right, we can't engage and give everybody that energy, you know what I'm saying? But I don't like people attacking my character when you don't know me.
Well, that's the thing. You can't take ownership of none of that. Don't own any of that. People don't know you. And whether it's just fans amongst fans, that's one of the things I love about sports. When we're in the arena and we cheering for the same team, you don't care about nobody's ethnicity, their religion, none of that. We just there with one purpose, one goal. And if we could take that mentality out in our daily lives, we would be a better people, in my opinion. The world via fandom, you know what I mean? Because we don't care in those instances. But as soon as we get away from that, like you see and read this stuff, I mean, it's unconscionable. Sometimes I got to stay off social media because it'll poison your mind a little bit. Seeing things happening to brown people, to children, and just in politics or whatever, it's a lot to take in. So you got to limit your time on those devices, but more importantly, uh, limit your heart getting involved in people you never gonna see, never gonna meet, that you could care less about. They probably tweeting from another country or whatever. So, or under an alias, because a lot of them people, you click on their name and it's like 2 followers or something crazy. Or if you got a profile picture of a cartoon, I can't take you serious. Your
All on
profile
block.
picture is a cat swimming or something in a cartoon imagery. So they're hiding behind something, and we are not therapists here to fix the internet. So I don't have it in me to do. So don't you let these people get to your heart. You're a good person. Don't let it happen. I mean
I
that.
appreciate that.
And
I'm
then tell me the
definitely
same
taking
thing when
that.
I'm on there going off on somebody, because it
I
happens.
I got you. I got you for sure, for sure. Cause I ain't gonna even lie. A couple of them guys responded to you, and I almost went super left. Like, hold up, bro. Like, hold on, bro. Now you doing too much. You feel me? Like, but these are conversations for the deeper than bars that we got. So the next segment of deeper than bars, I'm gonna bring you up because it's a
All
good
right.
chance I'm gonna have a few high profile names aboard and we could really have a group discussion.
All
All
right.
right. It's been a pleasure having you up here, Miss Queen. Thank you for bringing your
Thank you
presence
for
and
having
your
me.
knowledge here. DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports, streaming on multiple media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Follow us on IG at Industry Sports or at DeeTrynt. If you missed this live streaming, you can catch the whole thing in its entirety on replay on Spotify or on Google Podcasts or Radio Public and various other streaming platforms. Just look for the Industry Sports channel, subscribe, like, share, and look for the Game Changer Sports Talk with DeeTrynt right under that. We appreciate everybody that
Go
joined.
Bird.
Go, hoo, 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 hoo. Everybody that joined, everybody that liked, everybody that shared. We look forward to seeing y'all on the next stream. God bless. I'm going to holler at y'all later.
We out.